Hello, this is Lee on PublicLee speaking, and in this video, we'll delve into the fascinating field of Keynesian economics. Now, I'm going to do a set of larger issue videos pertaining to the field of economics that, altogether, will be about the equivalent of an Intro to Economics college course. I can't teach you more than that because I don't know more than that, and I can't teach you what I don't know. So, why am I starting on Keynesian economics instead of something simpler? Well, because all the simpler concepts can be explained so quickly that they aren't worth devoting whole videos to, and I will explain them anyways, like I'll explain the concept of supply and demand later on in this very video. I will do two big videos on the two central kinds of macroeconomics, being capitalism and socialism, but they will both be kinda controversial and multi-parters, so I'll need to do a lot more research to make sure I have all my facts straight so I can teach you guys correctly. However, before I start, economics comes in a sliding scale of freedom. On one end, you have capitalism, which is anarchy, which is organic chaos. There is no set law, order, plan, direction, or control. It just kinda happens. On the other end of the spectrum is socialism, which is pure law, pure order. It is controlled, planned, you are told what to do, there is no choice, there is only the plan, usually in 5-year increments. Karl Marx, the inventor of socialism, also came up with the term capitalism, though he meant it as a slur for the system that's more accurately described as propertyism. But the name just stuck, so let's go with that. Thing is, neither pure capitalism nor pure socialism exist. Diluted socialism exists, but it doesn't work. Diluted capitalism doesn't exist, but would work if it did. But wait, you might say, isn't America capitalist? No, it's not. Right now it's Keynesian, hence the video. So, Keynesian economics was made by a man named John Maynard Keynes in 1936, and is a system of macroeconomics, which deals with large systems like nations, as opposed to microeconomics, which is personal finance or small business. Keynesian economics is run by a central government-controlled bank and the government itself, which is supposed to smooth out business cycles, the normally occurring sets of highs and lows, bulls and bears, economic booms and recessions, and calls for a mixed economy that is neither capitalist nor socialist, but a mix of the two, falling more on the capitalist side. It was used from 1945 to 1973, but caused stagflation, a mix of economic stagnation and inflation, the worst of both worlds, due to those claiming to be implementing Keynesian policies while not actually doing so. The concept was discarded but came back in vogue after the economic crisis of the late 2000s. President Bush, Prime Minister Gordon Brown, and now President Obama have tried to use this with, I'd say, varying degrees of success in that they all didn't, but some implementations were worse than others. Keynesian economics calls for government spending via stimulus packages. These packages, however, were not meant to be the welfare-style handouts we received, but in government investment of infrastructure, which would create meaningful jobs while providing an environment for private businesses to flourish. Now, Keynes claims that some microeconomic practices can accumulate to lead to an inefficient market causing general glut, where everyone is saving instead of spending, slowing the market down. As this essentially means that there are excessive savings, this is not America's problem, and many economists don't think this phenomenon is possible, and if it were, that a free market would adapt to fix this problem on its own. According to Keynes, the demand for goods would be low, but the market wouldn't change to match this for some reason. In normal markets, without outside interference, things follow the law of supply and demand, the immutable economic law that in a free market, the supply of goods and the demand for them have inversely proportional effects on the price of said goods. Quick example, this is why, pound for pound, diamonds are immensely more expensive than sand, as the supply of diamonds is low while the demand is very, very high. Sand is freaking everywhere, but the demand is much lower. Now, this general glut, Keynes claims, would have caused unemployment and deflation, not inflation, requiring a coarse tuning of the economy to correct if it does not do so on its own. Keynes claims that he could have stopped the Great Depression by having the government invest in the aforementioned infrastructure while lowering all interest rates. This would artificially lower the value of time in economic calculations, rendering long-term investment less profitable, both in savings and loans, causing people to spend more freely, save less, and take out more loans as the interest rate would no longer be confiscatorily high. This would increase economic activity and reduce general glut in a free market economy, if such a thing existed. Thing is, if the Great Depression was caused by general glut in a free market, this would have been excellent advice. However, if it was caused by other factors, such as government intervention or policies, this means Keynesian economics would fail automatically, as it isn't a free market. This would cause said policies to backfire horribly, as it couldn't fix the problem it was meant to fix, as in that system, the problem of general glut wouldn't exist to be fixed. First problem with this, general glut. How do you measure it? One way would be noticing the problems it causes, which are a trend of unemployment, which we have, and deflation, which we don't, in a free market, which we absolutely don't. The other way would be to track everyone's personal finances for excessive savings and inefficient microeconomic practices, which would be a massive invasion of privacy. Second problem, this only works in systems of pure capitalism, a true free market, which does not exist anywhere in the world today. A free market would be one free of government control and regulation, which we do not have at all. Third, Keynesian economics only fixes a general glut in a free market economy. If you have any other problem in any other system, or stray from the guidelines Keynes set up, it will backfire horribly, and it has, causing the aforementioned stagflation, which it probably will again. An example of this is that stimulus packages are supposed to pay for themselves in extra tax revenue caused by increased trade better infrastructure facilitates and stimulates. The latest one, given by President Obama, did no such thing, as it was not curing excessive savings in a free market economy by increasing infrastructure, as it instead was a purely monetary adrenaline shot to a mixed economy that helped cure excessive debt with money given to the populace it was being taken from in taxes in the first place, meaning that it was just a flat tax rebate to everyone with a fancy name. Fourth is that extended Keynesian economic policies lead to central planning, one of the base traits of socialism, which leads to bad business investments as politicians are not businessmen, which leads to more intense business cycles, the exact same thing that Keynesian economics is supposed to solve if created by general glut. Further, these fixes are meant to be temporary policies to set the market right again, and for the government, they never are. The income tax that started in the late 1800s was supposed to be just for a few years, a decade at most, to help pay back debt accrued from fighting wars, as wars are bloody expensive. But now it's the freaking 16th Amendment! Also, as Keynesian economics says to return to normal after the excessive savings has been spent, how is this to be measured? And does a statistically relevant portion of Americans really have excessive savings? Also, if I ask how much spending is enough that we can stop doing this, don't answer with, "It's obvious," or "You'll know it when you see it," as those aren't answers but dodges. If it was obvious, or if I'd know it when I see it, I wouldn't be asking now, would I? The worst part of all of this is that those proponents of Keynesian economics today, like Nassim Taleb, author of The Black Swan, claimed about Keynes that he's too smart to make a mistake. The problem is that we live in a different environment. If we're not in the same environment, then why do you want to use the system designed for an environment that we are not in? You cancer in economics, you vainglorious, inept, dogmatic, deluded imbecile! Any time the claim is made that someone is too smart to make a mistake, then that speaker is not following logic anymore, but faith, as the only person who cannot make a mistake is supposed to be God. Faith has no place in economics. Numbers don't change just because you believe they will. I'll say it again. America does not use anything close to a free market, which is needed for Keynesian economics to work. We have a chimeric abomination of different policies, all in warped, twisted, perverted versions of their original designs, twisted to serve the wants of the policymakers until they do the exact opposite of what they're supposed to do, thus our financial problems. So, in essence, Keynesian economics is extremely effective for solving the perceived problem that it was created for. Unfortunately, people don't use it for that, but as a cover to excuse their own personally guided, economically idiotic policies. So, Keynesian economics. Good concept, horrid execution. And that's it in a nutshell. A passionate nutshell, but a nutshell nonetheless. That's my first lecture on economics. The rest of them are probably going to be these vehement because it's how I work. Next episode, I'll review a TV show. Not sure which one, but it'll be pretty good. This is Lee, publicly speaking, and signing off.